I am currently in Manhattan at my room in the Empire Hotel, which I'm thrilled about because I restarted watching Gossip Girl for like the 1300th time. And Gossip Girl is based basically in the Empire Hotel, so the fact that I'm actually staying here for once is just amazing to me. And everywhere I'm like looking, I'm like, Blake Lively stood here and Blair Waldorf stood here. But I wanted to film a video because this weekend I had a really interesting weekend. I was in Connecticut for the event at Danbury Fair Mall, so thank you so much to everybody who showed up. I loved meeting you guys, loved taking pictures with you. All of you guys are so beautiful. I met so many moms and girls and guys, and it was just awesome. And it really made me realize the power that I think my platform has given me to hopefully make change when it comes to mental health and body image. After the event, I posted a picture and somebody commented on the picture on Facebook, just something that like was kind of negative, and I didn't delete the comment, but it just made me realize how vocal I think I should be about college, and about not even college, more so just about growing up and having your parents not necessarily support your dreams, because people frequently ask me like, do your parents support you now? Do your parents support your dreams now? And for the first time on Saturday, my parents actually were like, I'm really proud of you. My parents are married. People think they're not, they are. They've been married for my entire life basically. But yeah, so when I first started my blog, my parents were really unsupportive because my sister and I have different dads, but my sister got into the entertainment industry at a really young age, came to college in New York, and just didn't have a positive experience. And because of that, my mom was pretty traumatized from the stuff that my sister had dealt with and didn't want me to go through that. And my parents are just such average, like regular people. My mom's a nurse and my dad's in sales. So like, you know, when I would come home from Fashion Week and be like, Mom, that was awesome, like I gotta go again, my mom was like, are you crazy? Like, I don't even know how you got to New York. So when I decided to move out when I was 16, my parents, I remember I sat them down on a Sunday, and how I moved out is I had started making money for my blog, and some girl who I knew in New York needed somebody to take over her sublet. So I sat down and I said to my parents, I'm literally leaving home. Like, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna move to New York. And I think they thought I was crazy, but my parents are just not, nobody could really stop me, but definitely my parents knew that they couldn't stop me. And I think because of that, that created a lot of like weird tension between us as I got older, because I always knew they didn't support me, but they didn't stop me from going to New York. And most people are like, did you even have parents? Like, what parents would let their kids move to New York? I am just such a go-getter. I'm such a like driven person, and you literally just can't stop me. The hardest person for me to tell was my best friend Gabe, because when I told him I was moving to New York and just literally like transferring to online school and not ever going back to high school again, that poor kid, I just like abandoned him, and him and I were like best friends. So he was pretty upset with me. But the parents thing was kind of difficult for me because obviously when things were happening and I got on Rachel Ray and whatnot, and my parents would come down to the city, even when I lived here, my parents never really visited me. They're just very like, as much as I love them, just like small town, like they don't really have any interest in like going out for like a day trip to New York or Boston or something. So I really was all on my own. They never financially supported me because they didn't have the money to, and they still don't. They're just like regular, normal, hardworking people. But I wish they had just been a little bit more vocal with me about things, because I think it would have helped me in the long run not be so insecure or deal with so many body image issues. But I don't resent them or anything. It just is how it is. So when they first started coming down, and I would be like, I was obviously, as a young person, you're looking for gratification from your parents. So I was always looking for some type of like, you know, reason to keep pushing and keep doing what I was doing, but I never really got that response from my parents. So that was always really difficult for me. But I mean, I look back and I always looked for feedback or value from people when I should have been looking for it from myself. And obviously when you're young, you don't really realize, all you really want is your parents to support you. But at the end of the day, if your parents truly don't support you, the best you can do is honestly prove yourself to them, depending on what you're trying to do. If you want to have a side hustle or a small business, or even if you have an idea and you need like $200 or $500 from it and you need somebody to give you that money, even if it fails, the only way people learn, the only way I ever learned, literally my entire life, is just failing, getting up and failing, and then you're gonna fail again, and you're gonna fail again, and then one day you're not gonna fail, but you'll probably fail the next day, and that's okay, because how are you gonna learn if everything's going perfect? And when stuff does go perfect, you have to get adjusted to it's not probably gonna stay like that. So it's really all about being able to just have something happen and then pick yourself up and get over it. But if it comes to like trying to decide whether or not to go to college, that for me was an interesting conversation with my parents, because my mom actually was pretty supportive of letting me transfer to online school. She knew that I was battling bullying. She knew that I was battling stuff with my personal self, like just being really insecure and just feeling like I didn't fit in. And we also knew that I wasn't really gonna get into college. I think my parents honestly thought I was kind of stupid for a really long time. I think a lot of people think, like, maybe still think, hopefully not, I think a lot of people for a while thought I was just stupid. Like, I didn't understand math, I didn't understand science, I didn't understand anything besides English, and that's not stupidity. It's more like my brain just works, like I understand what I understand. And if your kid is like that, they don't need to go on medication, they don't need to be investigated and taken into like doctor's offices and stuff. Some people just don't understand certain things, and I think that society in general like puts young people down if they can't get an A on a test, or if they're not good at standardized testing, which I personally was so bad at standardized testing. But just create the conversation of dialogue with your child, so that or with your parent, so that when you're feeling a certain way, or when you feel like you're noticing your kid slacking off, you can be open with them and be like, why are you doing this? Why are you not, you know, doing better in school? Because otherwise you kind of create this hostile environment, which is what I had with my parents for a really long time, where I just felt like I wasn't really welcome because I was not successful yet, and they wanted to have some type of confirmation that this career was gonna make me successful, or they didn't really want to support it. So that's probably my best advice. And what I used to do is I actually used to make PowerPoints. Like when I first wanted to go to London Fashion Week, I made my mom a PowerPoint, and I sat her down with my dad and I said, it was actually like a 15-page PowerPoint about why I thought I should go to London Fashion Week and how it would affect and change my life. Stuff like that, like if your parents think you're not super smart and then you can like make a PowerPoint and they don't know how to use the internet, it actually can really help. So that's what I would say, just do stuff like that, and then just don't get too hyped up or too disappointed if your parents aren't supporting you, because they will come around. You just really have to show that you're able to be happy without doing something like if you're not necessarily doing something traditional with your life. And if it comes to taking a gap year or whatnot, I think that's a great idea. I just would say you need to have a plan for that year. Don't slack off. Like when I transferred to online high school, I finished high school in literally 4 months. I don't know why, but I used to spend, like, I had a very strict schedule. That's just the kind of person that I am though. Like when I transferred to online high school, it's called Keystone, I would wake up, I would like make coffee, I would go to the gym. This is when I kind of had an eating disorder, so I would like allot 3 hours to go to the gym, but I would go to the gym, I would go home, I would do school for 2 hours, I would take a break, I would do school for another hour, and then I would be done. And like that for me was really necessary. I'm not somebody who, I like schedules, and when you're not in school, or even when you go to college, from what I know, your schedule will be more flexible, and you have to be like knowing what you're gonna fill that time with. So also including that with your parents, depending on what you're deciding to do, or even whether you wanna go to a tech high school, you know, putting a schedule down together so that your parents don't think you're just like flaking out of school, because that's not okay. Everybody needs to go to school and have an education. There's just other ways you can do it that aren't necessarily something traditional, like technical high school or online school. There's tons of different ways that can make you happy and will help you become the happiest version of yourself. So I hope that helps. Check out episode 24 from last week of This Is Life Unfiltered on social media addiction, and then tomorrow's episode is gonna be on a good friend of mine who has an awesome jewelry brand. So I'm gonna go to the gym so I can wash this crazy hair, and I will see you on Friday for Fearless Friday.